Okay, I think we're live right now. Again, we didn't schedule the live in advance with a thumbnail, which is what we have to do for next week. So, unless people saw my post from an hour and a half ago, I don't think we gave a fair warning to people. But we're gonna get better at this, no?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's worth watching.
Yeah, and if it's worth doing, exactly. We're just trying out live for the first time, and it seems to be harder and more complicated than we had expected when you wanted to have two people, and cost more than honestly what we expected. We thought you would just click on the live button and go live, but no.
Yeah. For two people, it is. I
For
I
two.
I don't know if I wasn't sure if this is the case, but I watched Useful Idiot this week, and they said that they're not gonna do a lot of the live things they were doing. I like they started doing a couple of live things like Sunday morning
Mm-hmm.
things and so I don't know. So maybe, but yeah, it's just life is more difficult than
Yeah,
a
and
lot
I
of
was
people.
actually
I don't know
thinking
if they
how.
they're gonna stop or they might just do pre-recorded it.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of how the Vanguard guys do it because they do every single time live. So if they're using the same software as we are, they would easily go past the allocated hours that you're allowed to do interviews. So we need to keep on looking into the whole live thing and find the best setup possible.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and does
All
it?
right.
Oh, we forgot. It's recording the broadcast, but I forgot to check if there's a way for it to record it to my computer for it to be faster, but I guess it's recording it straight to YouTube again.
All right. Okay. So
Or
yeah,
or
you have to
possibly I
download
get a
it
copy,
later.
or possibly I get a copy. Well, we shall see. It's unclear. But okay, we're
Okay.
figuring all this out. But one thing we know for sure is today's lineup and program and what we're going to talk about. So
The
first
content.
we're gonna scroll easily a little bit through Yahoo News, see if anything catches our attention. Then we're gonna look at voter turnout in Europe, just a small thing, and then it is. I mean, I always knew it was low, but I was perhaps surprised at how low it is in some countries. 40% turnout in 2019 in the Netherlands. Um, that's relatively low, I would say. And then we're gonna talk about Squid Game, which I'm hoping some of our viewers have. I mean, so many people have watched it. Some people are not watching it because too many people have watched it and they find it to be too mainstream. But hey, sometimes the masses also watch stuff that are worth it. So I don't think you should skip Squid Game because of that. And then we're gonna talk about all the drama surrounding Dave Chappelle and his special. No drama. I mean,
Well, we're gonna talk about it a little.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
about all the drama.
I mean, quite a bit of drama if you ask me. It seems, but yeah, and maybe not justified. And then finish up with some progressive tweets when at the end, because we didn't get to do it on Friday. So if people saw our latest episode of the Progressive World, we didn't get to the progressive tweets, so we'll do that then. But yeah, Sam, anything else you want to say, or should we start looking at the news, or?
No, yeah, let's get to the news. What's been up this week?
Yeah, so let's just do a little bit of Yahoo News, which has a good amount of news from different places. So I was surprised. I was listening to Al Jazeera. Oh, here you go. You couldn't see my screen. Now you should be able to see it, right, Sam?
No, not yet.
But it should get there. How about now?
No.
Really? Oh, but live people can see it. That's strange.
Okay, should I look at the?
Maybe look at the
Sure.
phone, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now it's just okay. Yeah, yeah. I can sit.
But what about
I'm
on your
looking through the
computer?
phone.
Just on the phone?
No. Yeah.
No, that's strange. Sorry about that.
Alright.
But okay, all right. Let's Yeah, so
I am
Yemen
one
is.
of our two viewers.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it is. I think we're still a bit too early. I mean, it is 9:30 a.m. in New York. It's like 6:30 in LA, and we didn't announce it in advance. We didn't put a thumbnail and everything. So
Oh, sure.
consider this
Yeah,
as
yeah. No, no.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is
But
definitely practice for sure.
yeah, so Yemen is back on the news.
Yeah.
I
So
saw Al Jazeera was covering it, but I didn't get to see. But of course, there's still more fighting going on between the Saudi-backed and what were they called? The Iran-backed Houthi. I mean, that hasn't gone away. Although I haven't heard much from it. I mean, the Saudis are supposed to be ending that war, but of course, things are still going on, and now there's a civil war. I'm guessing.
yeah, I mean, it seems the latest is that they are claiming that Houthi blockade restricts aid. I don't know if that means Houthis are doing the blockade or government is doing the blockade to the
Hmm.
Houthis. So which one are they referring to? Well, I assume they're referring to the blockade of the Houthis. So I assume, but I can't read from this. This is a bit
Yeah.
too small.
No, I see. No, I mean we'll hopefully get back. We'll cover Yemen this week if it becomes a bigger story, or even not. We should still cover Yemen. We haven't covered Yemen in a while. Then I also saw there was
Ever?
again some more. Sorry.
No, I have we covered Yemen ever?
Oh yeah, I mean a few months ago we used to cover it quite a bit. We talked about the split with the UAE and the UAE's interest in that island and everything, if you recall.
Oh, yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Forgot about that. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
The French Algeria stuff seems to be going on still, but although this is
Yeah,
different now, this is like a different incident.
apparently Macron called it. I read it in Persian uh, outlet, so I don't know what was the specific word, but apparently he called it a bit of a problematic event. There was a massacre of Algerians apparently in Paris
Hmm.
at some point in like 70s or something, or
French
earlier,
police, yeah,
maybe.
sorry, 1 second before, as you explain, here I'm just reading French police killed up to 300 people in 1961.
Jesus
So, yeah,
Christ.
but yeah,
61.
continue.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, apparently he basically his language was somewhat diminishing, they say, of the event. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know what a specific word to use, so I don't want to judge or anything. But I do think he's trying to probably play to the nationalists right now. Election is coming up soon,
Yeah,
relatively soon.
yeah, I mean, right now they're still in the primary stages, but yeah, April 22nd is the election. Some news on Syria, which I mean I really haven't been following much, so I
No.
couldn't tell you what it's about um, exactly. But like I said, Yahoo News always covers like everything that happens in Syria, and I mean their
So
articles are
cool.
from AP and all that, most of them, but it's just a good source to find, good place to find these kind of articles,
Mm. Yeah, it's a
and
good sort of
yeah.
curation.
I guess this is kind of decent news. Apparently, I guess the Taliban are going to allow for girls to resume secondary
Oh,
education soon. 4 weeks.
four, no, no, in four states
Oh,
or
really?
provinces. Yeah, I believe. At least that's what UN said. They have allowed girls' education in four provinces,
Secondary
or
level.
I don't know what's the specific. But yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh,
This was a
Bitcoin.
funny one, Sam.
Which one?
The Matt Hancock loses UN job just 4 days after his appointment.
I can't. My our video hasn't reached that point.
Oh,
I can see that.
okay.
But that's, oh my god, loses you. Jesus Christ, I don't know what happened, but he did release a, because he besides the fact that I've made fun of him for his policies and all that, he recently, I think he was caught cheating on his wife, and then he had to divorce his wife and stuff,
Yeah.
and then after a while he released this video that sort of shows that, like, he's trying to show that he's a normal person and all that, and he goes in the streets, and it is the funniest thing in the world, man. It's just like he's basically getting ignored by everybody, even in like a promotional video by himself. So
Which is,
it's just weird. It is really weird and interesting.
yeah. And then here, I mean, I looked into it. Pretty much, he was given like a special representative job or something by some kind of UN development or something. But then apparently, the official reason that they withdrew it is that he's still a member of Parliament or House of Commons, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
yeah, he's
He's an
MP,
MP,
so
so he shouldn't be allowed. Although there is like precedent where
they
this
can
has
do.
been done, but I guess when it came to him, they were like, yeah, maybe we should use that
Yeah,
excuse.
that's poor Matt Hancock.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of news from Iran. I don't know if you know much about it. Iran sentences ex central bank chief to 10 years in prison.
Yeah, there is the not the ex chief, but this the not the one before the current chief, but the one
Yeah.
before that got sentenced to. I think that he still has one chance of appeal. I think I have to check that. I haven't read upon it or anything. Yeah, but it's a big news, and I mean, the supporters of the current government say it's a fight against corruption. He's been accused of money laundering and foreign currency hoarding or whatever.
Mm,
But the opposition says that it's he's getting rid of his political enemies because that guy was appointed by the previous president. So you know, uh, and the
eh,
judiciary is good with the current government right now. So
exactly. So, I mean, I saw that he was in his post until 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And what they're accusing him of, like illegally adding US dollars into the market or something? Is that what he's being accused of? Or you're not too sure?
he's like I don't remember exactly, but from what I recall, he was accused of manipulation of the foreign currency market. I don't know if
Mm,
he's exactly accused of selling too much or hoarding, or usually they are accused, like in Iran, it's a common thing, like the corruption thing is usually hoarding
mm.
or insider information type of thing, like you used your position to, for example, profit off of, you knew dollar is going to go up or down or whatever, so, and you did these trades before before everybody else knew. So it's
Gotcha.
probably hopefully we're going to cover it in Iran brief, but I
Mm.
haven't read fully up on the thing. So
Got you there. Let's see if anything more. We're almost halfway through this page. They don't have too many articles, though. That's the thing. And I mean, if you come and check them for the next 24 hours, it's pretty much going to be the same ones. And they have
oh really?
the same article multiple times, kinda. You see again, UN official Taliban by AP. I'm pretty sure the other one was AP as well.
mm, all
Just
right,
seeing
interesting.
if anything else here that looks familiar
No.
that we can talk about a bit. And then we should just
Have
let
you,
me see.
besides this, have you seen anything interesting in the news this week?
This week,
I think we can
what?
close this.
Yeah, I was just gonna check what's the New York Times, just like quickly on the front page. But this week, did anything really catch my attention besides the stuff that we've talked about? Nothing I can think of right now. How about you?
Uh, well, there was the Merkel visit to Turkey, which ended with he met up with Erdogan, and that was interesting because, like, at the end, apparently Erdogan called her a great friend or a good friend or something along those lines, which is complete lie. They hated each other, and one of her, like we discussed this when we talked about Yanis Varoufakis' video on Democracy Now, when we did our progressive world. One of the major issues they talked about was the immigration, and she wanted to make sure Turkey is still gonna abide by the deal they had, that they pay Turkey basically to keep the immigrants sort of off of Europe's like
Yeah,
borders and all that. So yeah, it was an interesting end to her chancellorship.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, they paid pretty much Turkey to keep Syrians and other immigrants who were landing in
Yeah,
Turkey for pretty
the
much
North
coming to
Africans,
your, yeah.
Afghans.
But especially a lot of Syrians, I mean, went through Turkey.
Yes, especially the civil war that when
Yeah.
it kicked off. Yeah.
And any other news stuff? I mean, I stopped sharing the screen, but I have two more news kind of items I wanted to talk about. But any other news
Mm,
stories that you have in mind?
nothing really fun. Oh yes, yes. Dominic. There was a UK one which you might not find that much fun, but there was you remember Dominic Cummings? You know, we've covered him a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah, yeah.
times.
The British guy.
Disgraced.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
of course.
Well, he's the guy they say was behind the Brexit campaign, and like he's not that much of a puppet
Mm.
master, but they do like portray him. And then he was in Boris Johnson's like advisor, and like he's like uh, he was in the main group of power, let's say. But then he had a apparently falling out with Boris Johnson's now wife, then girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was kicked out and all that. And he did a big attack on Keir Starmer, which was great. And he also revealed something about Brexit. First of all, he said that the Brexit deal was always meant to be broken uh, uh, because it's regarding the Irish border issue. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you're caught up on that, but EU has basically just offered a very revised version of the deal because
Okay.
Northern Irish Protestant community is very upset about the whole checks and borders between Northern Ireland and mainland Britain. So yeah, but you see, and UK is pretty much saying that if you don't meet our demands, we're gonna break the deal. So yeah. Anyway, he revealed that first of all, Boris Johnson's government was gonna always like he said that the deal was I don't remember the exact phrase, but he said it was a hit job on Jeremy Corbyn.
Mm.
Basically, that was a way to bury Corbyn or something along those lines. And then he also, interestingly, on Keir Starmer, he said Keir Starmer is a dud and he's a stupid for because there is a whole big scandal with the police right now, police and women's issues, because not couple, there has been found a systematic sort of abuse of power by police officers, especially when it comes to female citizens. But yeah, people. Yeah, so so he said he should attack police for that. So he's now like the Labour Party now is to the right of
Oh,
Dominic Cummings because he's saying attack the police, and then Keir Starmer is like, no, we should respect the
yeah,
all authority, and everybody's good, and it's just like the most ludicrous
I
time to be
know.
living in. It's
And there was
so good.
one, yeah, there was maybe one. I want to come back to this. I want to just ask you about one or two more things. But first, we have two comments that I just wanted to quickly
We fucking
address.
hell.
Yeah. So, and look, I
Cheers.
can add the comment here to the broadcast. So, TCT numbers asked that why did you say it costs more? So, just who missed the beginning, I was talking about the cost of going online and everything, and we weren't aware that it cost more for
Oh,
you to have an interview, to interview someone.
two people
Yeah,
live.
it seems to be a case. And also, even the software that we got, which seems to be a good one, gives you 20 hours limit per month. So that's why I was mentioning that the Vanguard, if they use the same and they're always online, they always do a live, sorry, they must pay quite a bit. But then I really also wanted to address this comment and let him
Yeah.
know that it's not going to be all politics. So thank you. Astro Gypsy called us sadistic bastards
Oh,
for a
for
political
mentioning
live stream on Sunday
entertainment.
morning. Yeah, no, for a political live stream on a
Oh,
Sunday
all right.
morning. So I want to let him know that we're quickly going to move on to talking about the squid.
Entertainment.
Yeah, Squid Game. Sorry, not the squid. We're going to talk about Squid Game, and then we're going to talk about
I,
Dave Chappelle before
it
talking
doesn't
about
have
some
it there.
progressive tweets. No, it's Squid Game. Sorry, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not the squid, it's just Squid Game. So we can talk about Squid Game, Dave Chappelle, and some progressive tweets. So yeah, it's not going to be hardcore news or politics. But Sam,
No, no.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
um,
just we're gonna those two programs are arguably kind of political, so
I mean, yeah, I
or
mean,
had political impact, whatever.
that is for sure. But going back to the whole thing of like UK Labour being more to the right of like the
Than the
conservatives or
communists,
the or like the right wings, it
not
seems, in the
even considered.
UK, which is just messed up. And our progressive tweets, Glenn put out a nice tweet which shows how much of a failure Keir Starmer, the leader of the
Oh,
Labour
really?
Party,
Cool.
currently is.
Look
So we
forward.
get to that. But yeah, what is this? Do you know about this murder that happened in the UK? Is that what started all this? Like a police officer murdered a young lady, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, yes, it seems so. I don't, that's the thing, I don't know all the details. I haven't read upon it as
Mm-hmm.
much as I should have. But yes, I haven't read the details, so I don't want to I don't want to give any description because I fear missing something. But yes, there was a murder, which with a yeah, and it seems a police officer was involved. And then there are apparently reports, I believe, or evidence of systematic abuse since like 1990s at least.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
I saw something regarding that, some headline, but I didn't read it again. It's not, yeah, but yeah, but police is under very tough scrutiny. There were calls for the resignation of the chief of police, which is a lady herself, but it doesn't seem to uh, have successfully reformed the police, let's say. So
Okay.
yeah, it's all regarding that issue. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So I stopped sharing screen, but I'm gonna share my screen again if you don't mind to wrap up the news
Sure.
part. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Sam, you remember
I
when
have
we
to
yeah, when we
wait.
covered the Iraqi elections, right? From last week,
Yes,
you mentioned that voter turnout was what, like 40 something
41.
percent? 41. And you said that's not low for like European standards, right? But in the Middle
But
East,
yeah,
it's quite low. And of course, I mean, elections in Europe are probably better, I would assume, Middle East. But putting that aside and just focusing on turnout by country. So this is like a European, I think this is from like an official European website, EU website,
Yep.
European
I
Parliament.
think it's European Parliament.
Yeah. So
I can't see, but yeah.
yeah. So I mean, so here's talking about the European election results. So I guess it's not the country by country turnout, I would assume, right? But for like EU
What?
elections, so not country elections, but for EU
Oh, this
elections.
is
Yeah,
EU
this is
elections.
EU
That's
elections.
different.
Yeah.
Like when we discussed it before the show, I thought it's okay.
No, no,
That's
I was
high, I would say. This
yeah, these
turnout
are
is high for,
yeah,
I
in
would
some
say, for
countries it's quite high, huh? Like 88% in Belgium, but then like 50,
what? Oh,
40.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Brussels makes sense.
Bro, yeah.
But no,
50,
even
yeah.
40%
Yeah.
for a parliament that has literally no power but issuing statements, that's like, why do you bother? I mean, I
To
don't
even
get,
vote. That's
I
true.
wouldn't.
That's true. I should have. Honestly, until now, I thought it was the country one.
Oh,
But
well, I would say in Europe it's usually around 60% or something. I think country ones, isn't it?
let me see if I can
Usually.
bring that up. Let me see if they have it quickly.
Wow, you type fast.
Nah, it doesn't. I don't think I can find something that easily and quick. Oh, but. Okay, nice. I found something actually. Nice. So by Pew Research, this is voting what year? 2016. So it's looking at 2016 and the years around that. So we see percentage of voting age population. So who votes how much? And then there's percentage of registered voters. Sam, do you see this?
Now I see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a
I
lot
can't
of
read
European
it.
countries here. A lot of European countries here. And yeah,
What's
voter
above Turkey? I can't
above
read.
Turkey is Japan.
Oh, it's all around the world.
Yeah.
And above Japan is Ireland?
Iceland.
Iceland.
Yeah.
Iceland is part of EU. It's definitely part of Europe, but I don't know if it's
Yeah.
part of.
But I mean
It's part
some
of Denmark, so I think.
but the European countries seem to have, yeah, exactly, around 60% voting. France had almost 70%. Germany had 70, and Italy around 65% of people voted. And I think
So,
it's
so
yeah.
you proved me wrong live.
No, I
Okay.
mean you were quite low. I was mistaken. And in the US 55% in 2016.
No, no, it's higher than I thought. But the other one is super high in my view. European Parliament, 40% of people go out for that. Jesus.
Yeah.
This actually has some like resemblance of electing people
Reality.
who are in power. Yeah, like some kind they have some power or something.
Yeah. But okay, these might be hard to see. Let's move on to our last kind of news kind of item before we move on to Squid Game. So Sam,
Sure.
let me get your opinion on this. Breaking Point ran this YouTube poll, and if anybody has any takes, please leave them in the comment section, and we'll get to them right now. But yeah, do you support Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg taking 2 months of paternity leave during a supply chain crisis? So at first I was like, yes, 100%, because I mean, there's always something, right? I mean, especially if you're in a high position. Okay, it's a bit of a special moment right now with the supply chain crisis, but there's typically in a high profile job like this, there should always be something. So there's always be an excuse. Having said that, I still think he should be able to take the paternity leave, like, at the time that he needs to take it, because he just got his baby, despite what is going on. And typically someone else should be able to fill in his shoes. And, it's not like Pete Buttigieg is an expert in this area anyway. Let's be honest. What do you
I
think, Sam?
I I don't really care. First of all, second, because I don't think like secretaries really matter that much. Again, I think the civil service, or what they call civil service in UK, like the people bureaucracy matters far more.
Hmm.
First of all. Secondly, I don't know. I generally agree with the German system that one parent can take a leave, paternity leave for, I don't know, 3 months or something. I think 3 months is fair enough. And then, like, they can choose whether it's the mother or the father or the one parent or the other if it's a gay couple. So I think if, yeah, sure, if
I
they've,
don't know,
like,
but the mother
they
has to
have this
take
option.
it. I mean, that's not even a conversation. I mean, they literally have to
No, in
breastfeed it.
Germany, it's I believe they choose which couple, and I think Merkel famously like went back to work like after a week, like it's a optional. Like I think there is a week for definitely or two
Yeah,
weeks
wow.
like for women, but besides that, I think you can you maybe I'm mixing Germany with another like a with a Scandinavian country, not another.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if they like if yeah one of the parents is allowed to take 2 or 3 months of paternity leave with pay. Whatever their job is fine, and that's their like personal decision. It's not like something. I think if you can criticize his handling of the supply
Yeah, yeah,
chain
that's
crisis
different.
with the specific examples, but if he takes a break, well, I don't care how he does his jobs. Maybe he stays up late. Does it? I don't care. Just do your.
No,
I
I mean,
will
if you're
rather talk
off,
about
you're
a
off.
specific.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're off, you're off. I mean, you get
Sure,
the full
sure,
leave.
but yeah, it's a job, so yeah. I mean, if I think paternity leave is a fair enough thing for 2 months, paid paternity leave.
Yeah.
So if one of the couples gets to get that, if not, even I don't know. I would support it even for both parents. Like both parents should get like whatever the case, like 2 months off. I think
I
that's a
mean,
good idea.
I think the woman 100% two or more. I mean, you remember once we did a story, and some countries had almost like 6 months or so of paid leave, and of course, the U.S. didn't have
It
any
can
paid
be.
leave. Um, we saw, but yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
I think for men a good month. I mean, in a couple, in a couple, the woman after at least 2 or 3 months is a minimum. But yeah, the man maybe a month or two. I mean, he doesn't need to serve the baby in the same way biologically.
Depends on the. I've seen parents that the father is more involved than for example, the
Yeah,
mother for one reason or another cannot breastfeed or something. So I think
yeah,
it's up. It should be up to them, not like necessarily just for women or all that. But if they do give it to both people, I think that's the best way, right? Because then whether two mothers or father or mother, two fathers, whatever the system is, they give the kid more attention, more time. So give, like, I would be up for just giving both like 2 3 months off. And
Yeah.
I think 3 months, why 2 months? Like give them a season off. That makes sense.
Well, that
And
makes sense.
again, if something goes wrong with the supply chain specifically, you should criticize him. But I
Yeah.
don't see how this is like, again, this is like personal thing. I don't care.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Bobby says, I think Bobby, I think Bobby's joking a bit. He says, of course, giving birth to twins is an arduous experience. So I don't know if he even had twins or if he adopted twins. But true.
No, but
That is different.
did he have twins, Pete? Oh, you don't.
Yeah,
Okay, you just.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Someone
sorry.
let us know. Bobby, are you joking or did he actually? I mean, did he adopt twins? Is that a thing? Can you go?
Oh, that's a good, but it's a good question though. If you have twins or triplets, should you have more maternity leave? I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's crazy, man. Twins, Jesus, one kid is crazy.
No, 100%. Bill says, I say if the government does not provide paternity leave for its citizens, then the politicians should not get it either. Fair point. And based on my understanding, now federal employees, female federal employees in the US get paid maternity leave, I believe. But that's people who work for the
The
government.
federal
But
government.
here it just says paternity leave also, so I don't even know if it's paid paternity leave, which is also a very important thing in general for normal people,
Yeah, if it's, I would
If you're
assume
not
it's
getting paid, I
implied.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, if I assume it's implied. Otherwise, it would be ridiculous. Like we let you go for 3 months to have fun on your own.
Yeah. And Astro Gypsy
And,
says, response to @Bill Bradley, I'd flip that and say whatever social services a public official gets should be available to the general public. And that is pretty much the case, except maybe some like security stuff that you give to some people,
yeah,
or
exactly.
yeah,
Or
things
drivers.
yeah, but not like healthcare and
Yeah,
ridiculous.
no,
That should be
like
for everyone, like maternity leave, paternity leave, healthcare. Yeah, maybe driver or like
I do think that the
bodyguard.
politicians should be paid far better than what they're paid now. But I don't think they should receive all this extra. That's the thing about benefits. It's worse. It's like just give them the money and then give them so many loopholes to, like in the UK case, like they used it to, pretty much steal money. That's pretty much was the case. So yeah, I do think like healthcare, paid paternity leave, education. These three are just so basic. Just give it to
I
everyone,
know.
and then just get it over with. Fuck off. Yeah.
I
And then
know.
we don't have to have these idiotic polls by breaking point.
Yo, I love these polls on YouTube. They're too funny. But Bobby says that apparently he did have twins, and I'm like
Oh,
looking this up. How can he
okay,
have
cool.
twins? Though? I don't understand. Are you messing with us?
Why can't you have twins?
Cause I mean, yeah, I guess he went and adopted. Yeah, that
Yeah,
they welcomed baby, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they got like a I don't know how they did it. So
they
maybe
get
they
a
didn't
surrogate.
adopt. Yeah, maybe they got surrogate. But yeah, okay. I think Pete would be more useful at home than
That's a
handling
good
the
point. Yeah,
U.S.
maybe we're better off
supply
with
chain.
him. Ex-CIA, like conqueror of half of Afghanistan, bro.
So Bobby, my bad for not believing you. You're 100% right. I will not make that mistake again. And I guess, as per usual, I assumed the whole scenario. I was like, no, didn't Pete Buttigieg go to China so he adopted only one kid? I made up a whole story. But all right, Sam, let's switch to Squid Game. How should we attack this? You said that it's your favorite show ever, if I'm not mistaken.
No, since Westworld season one.
Since that's right.
Yeah, it's a season since Westworld season one. It is. I thought it was fantastic, and what is your general take, overall take? Bad, good.
Oh no, I mean I loved it too, and I mean I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It becomes one of my favorite shows if you put together how entertaining it was and like the political and social commentary. If you put them together, But yeah, just like yesterday when we spoke about it, I told you, I mean, the other show I would put in that category would be The Sopranos, which I absolutely love. That's probably my favorite TV show. But no, if not, Squid Game was really, really good. And they're going to have a season two, which is
That's great. Yeah.
interesting. I wouldn't, yeah, have seen that coming.
Yeah, I thought it's yeah, I wasn't sure if it's gonna become a sequel. Yeah, it's gonna. By the way, a spoiler warning. We're gonna do the spoilers, so we should say that probably before
Oh,
we
yeah.
really get into it. Yeah, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
full
say
of
it.
spoilers.
Yeah, if I don't know if you've seen I think I told you last night, but you haven't seen Battle Royale. But it was literally like Battle Royale and Parasite sort of mixed together in many ways, but better than both of them in my view. And yeah, I thought it was uh, yeah, everything, production value wise, story wise, character wise, everything, just best thing since Westworld season one, and generally, yeah, top five like TV shows out there, media contents out there overall.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So what
Mm.
are some interesting social and political like messaging that we should unpack? Should we start that way,
Yeah,
or
yeah, I
you
think
tell me,
that's
you're
a
more our resident expert when it comes to movies and TV shows.
good point. Well, yeah, they Vice Crack did a fucking
Yeah.
great video on this, so I urge everybody to watch their video. They discussing David, like they discussed the yeah. Well, I think they are correctly pointing out the issue being discussed is debt.
Yeah, that was very
Pretty
interesting.
much, I mean, obviously, the film is like has some elements of anti-capitalism. There is quite a couple of obvious references, like the fact that everybody owes money, and the fact that he remembers at some point, for example, he flashbacks to a strike one of the characters was involved in, and the rich and poor dynamic is very much through the VIPs is very much bold, is very bold, and all that. But besides that, it's very specifically, I think, about debt and a society that is in debt, and this feeling of guilt that comes with it, and how it pretty much destroys every relationship you can have with other human beings, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up on the dead thing until I watched Wisecracks. I
The
mean,
wise.
of course, it's so obvious. I mean, his doctor friend is like badly in debt, right?
Yeah,
He is in debt too, but then I guess I forgot if
his
they mentioned
doctor
that
friend.
his friend was a doctor, right? His neighborhood friend.
No, he was a financial. He was a financial guy. He did
Sorry,
committed
sorry.
fraud. That's why they were
Oh yes,
after him.
yes, yes, yes. Sorry. Um, so him. So yeah, and the other characters, I guess they mentioned that they're in debt, but in my head it was just more like people who are in a horrible situation. But I guess debt was a main part of it, and how I guess debt has ruined a lot of people's lives. Um, in South Korea. Yeah, that message. I mean, Wisecracks really focus purely on the whole debt thing, really.
Yeah, they're great, and yeah, they mentioned this. They mentioned David Graeber, if I'm not
Yeah,
mispronouncing his name, who wrote this famous book, I think, "Bullshit Jobs," or coined the term "bullshit jobs." And then they discussed this sociologist philosopher from Italy called Maurizio Lazzarato. And I think, yeah, that's a great. I mean, they discussed the whole concept in a bit much greater detail than we do here. But I think, yeah, it was great because, I mean, it was. I have this from Financial Times, was it? If I'm not mistaken, they wrote this. Yeah, Squid Game has the lucidity of a parable and potency of a medieval fairy tale, and I completely agree with that. It felt like a fairy tale, like a original Brothers Grimm's fairy tale that that pretty much you have they enter. They enter a scenario and it's got a very very dark ending in
yeah,
the end, and the connection with the children's gameplays and all that. So I think that it was a perfect. I found it. I love movies that work sort of as fairy tales. If anybody's seen Hannah, that's a great movie. And this one felt like that as well. You felt like there are monsters, and with the masks
yeah.
and all that. So yeah, it was great. I think overall though, both production value and story wise, it was just so good, and it was a perfect allegory for just life in general, because you sort of learn children's games that
Hmm.
are supposed to socialize you into a society, and then as you grow older and stuff, you pretty much you you form friendships, and then if it's partnerships, and if it's economic partnerships, then you usually end up pretty much, I mean, I'm probably going to backstab you at some point, so,
Well, I
so
don't know. This is an
it's just
economic
like,
partnership. I wish it was. This is more like a.
yeah. It's more like a time waste. Yeah. But so it was a perfect allegory for life, and the ending, again, a spoiler, and all that, I found to be a just I found the ending perfect. I don't know what you thought of it.
So, which aspect of the ending?
Oh, the old man
Hmm.
and Gigun, Ilhan and Gigun, I
Yeah.
believe, I read the subtitle, conversation at the very end, and they bet, and the old man like setting up himself to lose and all that. So, like, kind of saying that I hope I'm wrong, but
But
in a
man,
way,
that old man though, like now that you like watch it and think about it, he's completely
perfect.
evil and detached from like everything. Like he doesn't even like care. The whole thing is for like a game for him, right? Like he plays this game because it's amusing for him. He sets it up because it's amusing, and he's always watching people. Like he doesn't really have like this deeper thing about him where he's like doing this because of some like alternative motive and stuff like that. It's just because he finds it entertaining and he's bored, and like
No,
I guess
no,
because his job and to make money.
well, that's the thing, though. That's the, I think, message of the film, that even if you have that much money and all
Hmm.
that, when you have a society that is so unequal or in debt, uh, even he can't feel real joy, because he's just so separated. But I would say he's not really evil. I think that's the whole point. Like,
Is
as
he
a
not?
view, like, yeah, especially, I don't think, like, I may be one of the few people that can say he's evil, because I don't watch any sports. I don't watch any of the X Factors, American Idols, reality shows, because whenever I do watch them, I genuinely, because since I was a kid, I've seen a lot of similar movies with VIP people and masks and
Mm.
like betting on people, like the greatest game and all that. If like famous, thing. So I mean, I think what's the difference between this and people who watch Premier League or people who watch NFL?
In
What's
what
the difference
sense?
between? It's the same thing. It's just a more shortened version of it. Like
Who watch
NFL,
what?
literally
Who?
now. Like what's the difference between people like that and VIPs, and the Old Korean guy was the Ilhan was
I
the
mean,
original,
let's
I
put
suppose.
the NFL aside, but like people who watch, I mean, nobody dies playing soccer or nobody dies playing basketball. I mean, it
No,
is
they
a
physically harm themselves to for money, or the
you
programs
very.
that they jump on balls in water and then they're thrown to walls, or Jackass, the
Yeah,
movie series, Jackass.
I mean,
What's the I don't see,
yeah, I
like,
mean, they
it
decide
is
to
the
behave that way and act that way, and
they
make
decided,
money.
they signed the contract. They had a
But
vote and
that's one
everything.
of the main things of the movie, like this like fake like impression, like this false illusion of having choices, and like everybody's they keep on saying, oh, everybody's equal here and everybody's on the same level. I
It's
mean,
not.
that's a big
I don't.
theme and
I
criticism
don't.
of the movie, of like the
I don't
illusion of
agree.
democracy and choice.
I don't think it's the illusion. Really, it is real, but it's very limited,
Yeah.
and that's reality. It's a very good description of reality. I don't think it's. I think it's saying that humanity is quite. I mean, I think the movie's like open to interpretation, but I do think it is in parts are showing us that humanity can be fucking stupid and evil, and they vote for money, they vote to stay in. I don't think that's really
I
like.
mean, they didn't really have a. Yeah, I mean,
What do you
what
mean
was
they
the
didn't have
choice
a
for
choice?
them,
Of
right?
course
What was the choice for them
they couldn't. They said
to return
that's
back
the
to
thing.
their
He
lives
said,
scarred and still broken and still have no
yeah,
money and on debt?
yeah, that's a
So I mean,
choice.
it's not
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is a choice, but it's not a good choice. I mean, it is a
Well, the
choice,
death
but
is
yeah.
not a good choice either, but they chose. And by the way, I mean, this is in the film, so we don't know in reality if this would be the case. So it's not like statistics, but the host says like 97% return. So they could have not returned, right? After the
Yeah, they
first
could
game.
have, but you understand why they return. And I
So
mean,
it's not
yeah.
like if majority voted, we're gonna bring everybody back, like So yeah, sure, that's the and again, by the way, if I were in their place, I may have chosen the same thing. Though I'm not like judging, but I'm saying that yeah, that's humanity. That's what it is. There's this idiocy that I'm a special and I'm gonna be, but of course, yeah, there is like the last person that votes first time is actually Ilhan. Kind of some people saying implying that he was always in charge of the game. I mean, the twist of this TV show I think is one of the best twists ever, because I kind of guessed a lot of things. Like I completely guessed that the game they're going to be two people for is going to be against
Yeah.
each other, because they quickly started like being with their friends and stuff, so something's going to go wrong there. But
I would
the
have.
end. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean
Go
to
ahead.
break you up, but one wise thing I had in my head, I was like, I would have never wasted energy on trying to pick a partner. I don't know why they did that, because they didn't know exactly
Yeah,
how it's going to go. That was my only
exactly. And
criticism of them during the game. I was like, just chill, don't pick,
and
don't
they
pick.
I found everybody to be so sexist for no reason. Like there is no
Really?
indication. There is no indication that all the games besides the tug of
Oh,
war,
yeah, yeah,
or
or about strength.
the
Yeah, yeah,
first game
yeah,
has nothing to do with strength.
yeah,
So I don't understand. Every time you're like, no, we don't want a girl in our group.
yeah.
Why not? Like, what is? I would have tried to try to. What you call it, like has as many
Yeah.
variety as you can, but
Especially since so many
every
smart
time they're
girls,
like, no
yeah.
girls. Yeah, we don't want any
No,
girls.
I thought about that every time too. Exactly. I was like, why do they care
Why?
if there are girls on their team or
Yeah, it
not?
was the stupidest like concept. Like I mean, I didn't get it, but yeah, it was. But the old man twist, and there were so many hints to him being like the fact that he smiles throughout the first game,
Mm,
and the fact that he's not supposed to in the game with the marbles. He's kind of probably was gonna stay aside if Gigun didn't choose him.
yeah.
And then the fact that everywhere looks like his house, he knows all the games. His hand is not locked into the rope when they do the tug of war.
But all
It's
these things,
just
there's
so
no way
good.
you can catch these things while watching them for the first time.
That's the amazing part. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like the great twist. Is yeah, it's just that's the best part. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really hope season two is not. I must say that my main criticism is the color of his hair at the end. That was a bit too. I don't know. It was too bright a red. I expected a darker shade of red. It was just so. It was like your microphone's red. I
Yeah.
didn't expect it on somebody's head.
Maybe to like, maybe so it just like stands out because apparently red in the show symbolized power.
Power.
And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what. Yeah, yeah. But
And
yeah,
yeah.
and very interestingly, like the guy who recruits him in the
Yeah.
train station, in the metro station.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I think the director or creator did this on purpose. He's the guy. Like I love it when some directors, like I think Quentin Tarantino, Nolan, Fincher in Gone Girl does that. He's the guy from Train to Busan, which is a great Korean film, zombie film. I usually hate zombie films, but Train to Busan is a great zombie film. And I don't know if he chose him because he's a major actor, right? And it's a small role. But I don't know if he chose him on purpose because it had to do with a metro or a train
Mm.
station. So it was quite interesting. That was yeah. It was just when directors choose certain, like I think David Fincher does that in Gone Girl with Tyler Perry. They choose a character from real life that they know audience gonna have a certain reaction to because of thing. So that it's just everything about this thing is thought out. It's perfect.
It's brilliant. And while we continue, I see there's quite a few comments, so I don't want to lose any.
Really,
And there's one here
we
that
could give a
I
spoiler warning
that I find
if
quite
anybody's angry.
interesting. No one's angry. It's saying that another problem is the fact that there are only multiple class societies, but nobody explains that to young people in school or so. But I mean, this just caught my attention because class, like different classes and stuff, is something that's very like it's hard to talk about it. I guess nobody talks about it to children and all that. It's just something that you kind of have to learn yourself. They might talk about the past, but yeah, about different classes in
Class? I
society.
don't know.
Yeah.
They do. I don't know. They do. I mean, I generally education system sucks, but we talked about class when I was a kid.
Yeah, but like yeah,
We
I mean
talked
you
just like
do,
we
but
talked
yeah,
about religion,
yeah, no, that's true. But like in that way
not
of
in
like
a
understand if
deep
yeah.
way, but fair. No, I just yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand there are
J-
multiple what?
Oh, there. You have to read it. You don't have it in front of you, so it's hard.
All right.
Multiple classes, and someone else, Microsoft World Technical Support, going to have to give it a watch. It's on Netflix, right? Yep, it's on Netflix.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
listen to anything we said before this. Definitely.
No, no, no. Oh, yeah, true. I mean, sorry about the spoilers. And Bill wrote about the last comment that I just mentioned that poor people talk about it with their kids. So again, talking about class and that. I'm not too sure about that, Bill.
Yeah, some people do, some
Yeah.
people do. It's probably poor rich.
But the amount of spoilers, I mean, not sorry, the amount of little things in the show, though, it is amazing. And even like the
Yeah,
details that they were
Easter eggs.
showing, that the triangles and all that, they were like put in all the different places. And even in the beginning, when they shoot, when in the first game, when they're shooting at people, and I guess if you understood how the sensor work, you would see that around the old guy, there wasn't like a heat map.
Yeah,
But the craziest
it
one
was
is
crazy.
that when they're in the inside room where they all sleep, if they when the wide shot happens, all the games are on the wall, right there.
Yeah, if the beds weren't there in the beginning, like they would have noticed. Yeah, they pretty much all the games are there. I think. Yeah, even the last game is there. I just remembered. Yeah, even the last game is there.
Yeah.
So they could have guessed it all. Yeah. I mean, I must say the hopscotch glass one. That one was fucking crazy.
Which one
Like
was
I
that?
couldn't have done that. The hopscotch glass, the one with the bridge, the glass bridge.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah.
That I would have just fuck it. I'm just jumping. Fucking, I'm not gonna
And the
jump.
old guy
So like
lost
the old
before
guy
that,
was,
right?
yeah, he took himself out before
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, that was again like the way they did that, the way they shot that, even
Yeah.
like because I was goddamn crying for that old man, and then, god damn it. Anyway, they distract you so well. I love it when it's like the sleight of hand. It's like a magician's trick.
Yeah, and then I was sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm getting some of these. I'm seeing some of these comments on the side about class and stuff, and it's distracting me. But
Oh,
you
let
don't
me
see
take a
them.
look.
There's like a whole thing of on class.
There's a whole thing on class going on.
Yeah, and
But
like
what did you? I mean, it's quite funny. I find just Korean and Japanese movies, the ones I've seen, the acting is really interesting. It feels slightly more exaggerated than
oh, for sure.
Western movies. I don't know if,
I mean, the lady,
in a
the
good way,
lady,
in a very good
yeah.
way.
I mean, like the main character, he's just like so overly nice, and he's just like the nicest person, and he just cares so much. The crazy girl is like absolutely crazy. The bad like mafia guy is
Oh,
like the stereotypical like mafia looking person,
yeah,
and the way that like his crew like just go around him and worship him while he's in power is just like
I love how within
yeah.
2 minutes you get a gang. Like it doesn't take like. Well, I love
The,
the honest trailers and fandom screen junkies. I don't know what they're called these days. They said the Korean lady is as if Nicolas Cage came to was reincarnated as a Korean lady, and it is so true. She's got such Nicolas Cage vibes with her crazy eyes and all
yeah.
that. Myung Pink, what was her name? Myung Punk. It was her performance was fucking great as well.
Man.
Everybody's, but
And
like it's exaggerated, but not in a like in a way that actually real life sometimes is. Like the way that he fights with his mom and all that. You don't see that in movies usually, but you do see that in real life, like people arguing with family members, that type of thing. So it was really good overall. Like just best thing I've seen again since Westworld season 1. So.
Yeah, so many messages. I just put out two other part of messaging that we should talk about. But before that, and then I'll try to distract myself less with these comments. And this is really not your fault. No time, Toyas. He said, "Sorry, man, I didn't mean to distract you. No, it's not your fault. Keep the comments coming. I have to get used to
It's good
looking
for
at them
our
at the
engagement.
yeah. I need to learn how to look at them at the appropriate time." But two other things. I mean, there was the immigrant storyline too, with the
Oh, and
Indian
he has
guy
to, yeah,
who was taking advantage
Pakistani.
outside of the game, Pakistani and outside and during the game. And then there's also the two
And it
girls.
didn't amount to anything. It was just literally that he was exploited. And
Yeah,
even his like at the end, couple of families also at least get some closure. But no, nothing. Zilch.
yeah, nothing for him. And then there's also the whole North Korea and South Korea dynamic, where there are those two girls. They're pretty much the same, the two sides of the same coin. I mean, they're both in crappy situations. Just one is from North Korea and the other one is in South
It's from
Korea.
South.
But and
It
also
was
going,
interesting that I loved how like while it didn't glorify South Korea in any shape or form. It didn't also glorify North, like, because you also sometimes get it other way around, that, oh, I came here and I am so disillusioned that this is so bad. But no, it wasn't like trying to just say that. She was still trying to get her mother out. So it was a bit of a, like, very sober, very, I would say, clear-eyed view of both society. It seems, I mean, not both societies, but just presentation of both societies.
yeah, definitely. So what else? What else? Any other themes or super interesting stuff? I mean, there was I was seeing again in the movie, like even I was seeing the reviews, even though the soldiers, they were all in red, I mean, they were probably being controlled as part of the game too. And although like the symbols on the side of this, part of them being controlled is me adding it, but they had the PlayStation symbols on
The
their head,
symbols there, yeah.
and it kind of gives the illusion, I guess, that someone's controlling them too as part of the game, which I guess they
I
are.
genuinely, in the very first or second episode, I genuinely thought it's gonna be, as they progress through the game, they gonna become the guards, because of the way, exactly the way guards were portrayed. That they had their rooms and they couldn't show their face, and they
Yeah.
were just another level of bureaucracy. Even the host. But I would like that side story with the police guy and the internal structure of the whole thing. I found that to be so much more actually interesting. I know most people, like a lot of people, said it was like the bit distracting and all that from the main story and main
No, I
characters,
liked it.
but and it was just there to show us the. But I really like. I wanted to see. I really want to see what happens with him. So I don't. And I hope he's not dead, because he was shot in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
But
and his brother.
so if you bring that up, the brother,
But I didn't get one thing about that. I was gonna ask you, but go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if I got it, probably not. But why is it that some are saying that the main old guy, he was trying to groom the the main
Gigun.
character to replace him? But what about the guy who's already running the show? Why isn't that guy? Why isn't
May,
that guy?
maybe maybe he's gonna replace him,
Mm.
like, because I don't, because he's a former winner, it seems,
Yeah.
the host. So maybe that's the thing. When you become a winner, then, like, now he's dead, so I guess he needs an heir. But some people say Gigun is his son. Like that, there are some. I hope it's not the case, because it
Hmm.
sounds like a bit becoming soap opera. But
Yeah.
some people say there are hints that he may be his son, because when they're going through the town,
Hmm.
the marble thing, he says, "Oh, this looks just like where me and my son were, and you." And then Gigun says, "Oh yeah, I remember when I was very young, we lived in somewhere like this, you know." And then they talk about the and then a couple of times he talks about, "You're just like my son. I used to slap him on the I used to, what do you call that in English, spank. I
Spank.
used to spank it. Yeah, I used to spank him and all
Yeah.
that,
Or
like, he didn't drink his milk or something." So there were hints of that, so maybe that's the case. But I don't know. I don't think he was grooming him. I think he, during the game,
yeah.
Gigun changed him, and then now, even though he may feel like humanity is lost and all that, he hopes Gigun. I think that was the whole point of the end thing, that at the last second he sets it up so the police comes, so that, in a way, again, like,
Mm.
I think humanity is shit, but I hope you're wrong. But I
Yeah.
hope I'm wrong and you're right. So I think that was the thing. But yeah, I wanted to ask, I the guy, the brother, right? They were brothers, right? The police guy and the host, right?
Yeah.
But he just go missing, or did he go missing many years ago? Because it seems he went like he was the host, he was the winner from many years ago,
Yeah, I
and
think.
and then why in the beginning it seemed like he went to his house and he looked at some pictures, and I
Mm,
need to watch episode 1 again. But yeah, I really didn't get that. If anybody, like, I didn't understand, did he like just go missing, or he's been missing for years? Why did he suddenly like heard that? And because he heard that at the police station he went, yeah, I don't know. So
yeah,
that
no, that.
was something I wasn't clear to me.
And the
And
game
yeah,
has been going on for 33 years or something, apparently.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
his brother won
Yeah,
it like
90.
a few years ago or something like that. They made it seem like not that long ago.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what
Anyway,
about.
yeah, that I didn't get really.
So, for instance, someone here wrote, can you compare Squid Game with Slumdog Millionaire? So, I mean, I haven't watched Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know about that. But
I
what about
watched it
Hunger
years ago.
Games? Is Hunger Games like a lower level of Squid Game? I mean, it has the
Very
whole
low
thing of.
level.
It has the
Like
same
you're
thing,
going very low. But I
but
would
the
say, wait,
dynamic of really
Slumdog.
rich people, or like in Hunger Games, I guess it's everyone being entertained by these people playing this crazy game. So, at that basic level, it's
For
very
sure.
similar.
No, I wanted to say, I would say Slumdog is a bit more, I would say, a bit less cynical and more fast paced. I mean, it's a movie as well. It's not a series, so it makes sense. And it's Danny Boyle's style of fast paced, which I love. But that's what I recall. But I would say, yeah, there are similarities definitely, because you have people in a slum. Although, yeah, oh, yeah, there is the game concept in the Who Wants to Be. Yeah, good point. Very interesting comparison. I didn't think of that. But Hunger Games, I don't know, man. Hunger Games is a pretty obvious. I mean, it's not. It's like mashing sort of battle royale with sort of risk type, or like different factions and
Yeah.
this, typical YA young adult sort of, I don't know. I think it's like, yeah, you're right though. But that's like very weak version of this, I think.
Yeah, no,
I don't
for
know. What
sure.
do you think?
No, no, for
Did
sure.
you
I mean,
did you ever read The Hunger Games?
I don't read
No.
fiction books.
What? Oh,
I
ever?
just
Or
can't. I
wow.
just can't do it. I just can't do it.
Can you? Well, like you don't read even like Jules Verne's or like Edgar
Oh
Allan Poe, or
no, when I was a
really?
kid, like maybe a little
No?
bit, but no, not read. And when I was a kid, I didn't read, and now that I read, I like to read nonfiction and that kind of
Jane
stuff.
Eyre? Jane Austen?
I,
Jesus.
I
Okay.
mean, I've read those in school, so
All
I've read
right.
Jane Eyre and Jane Austen in school, but not like
Okay, we are
by
going down
myself.
now. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
I don't like those settings. Although I've told you Harry Potter's a good movie, surprisingly, but
Lord of the Rings is a far better
no.
movie, but okay. Uh, Jeez. Okay, wait. All right, Check. No, you should read Russian writers. You like them. You definitely like Russian.
What do you,
Like, this is
Maté?
ridiculous, man. No, but like Chekhov is
Joking.
like, it's like necessary. Yeah. I mean, I could never get through War and Peace, so I'm not the one to talk. So,
Okay. What else? Do you have anything
but
else?
I would. No, I mean, I want to I just want to spend the rest of my life promoting this TV show, pretty much. So yeah, I
Really?
have a lot to talk about, but I really don't know what else to say except it's great, and check it out, and check out the
You
Wisecrack
know.
video on the thing. It's like a great video, probably one of the best video essay on the
Yeah.
topic on this TV show, because it's more than just a review. It's a deep analysis, and yet yeah, it's fucking great. Watch.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let me do a few comments here. I don't know if you need to get water or something. I'm gonna have to get
I,
water in like 2 minutes.
you go
Before,
ahead, kid. But
yeah.
I
Can you
see a
see the? But
chat
you
icon
can't
on my
put them.
right.
You can't put them on the screen though. So I'll help you out a bit here, and then
All right,
while we
and then
transition to
go.
Dave Chappelle, and
I
then
have
guys, we're
water
gonna
here.
we're gonna do Dave Chappelle and then progressive tweets. So we still have two
All right.
items left.
How do
So
I? Oh, I have to live chat.
yeah,
Live
you
chat.
just look. So Carib Mott said, "Darn, I missed most of the live show. Yeah, sorry, we didn't give much of a heads up, but you didn't miss most of it. You only missed Squid Game,
Much.
and we we did a bit of new stuff in the beginning. So now we're gonna do Dave Chappelle and then progressive tweets. But yeah, it's hopefully gonna be every Sunday morning around 10, 11, or maybe a little bit later Eastern time. But we'll try to put a post at least a day in advance. Melissa wrote, I think you might understand this one more, Sam. Train to Busan has a second part, not a true part two, because a
Yes.
separate story. Do you know about this?
Yes, I haven't seen it. I heard it's okay, but yeah, it's different characters, but same concept, like zombie. I think they reach Busan. I assume.
I
Yeah.
see.
But it should, if it's not great, let me know because I don't want to read subtitles more than anyone.
Bill Bradley says that our channel is criminally under subbed. Yes, people, please like and subscribe.
Thank you.
If you've been watching us, it helps tremendously, especially in these early stages.
Check out 3%. Oh, sorry, I'm just going ahead.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh,
I.
here you go again. Hold on, Carib Mod. I have resisted getting into Squid Game. I just don't have it in me at the moment to get into a new thing with such apparent complexity. But the good thing is it's only 6 episodes. So
9.
binge watch it
9.
9. Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
not. But it's so
Yeah.
it's so entertaining though. But it's all this like complex stuff we talked about and all that. It's so entertaining. You don't
Yeah.
have to like
Well,
necessarily think about this bullshit that we think about.
and you don't even pick up on them. I mean, you have to
Yeah,
watch it
well,
2
you
or
don't
3
have to.
times to pick up on these
So
things.
gripping. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fucking gripping. Yeah, it's good. Well, I mean, some of it is pretty obvious, I suppose.
Yeah. Nice. Have you seen Ice Train? Have you heard about Ice Train, Sam? I haven't sure.
No ice train, no. But the
3% on
3%
Netflix.
sounds good.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
I heard that there is another
Yeah.
show somebody mentioned, The Activist. I heard isn't that a
Mm.
reality show or something? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
haven't seen that.
I thought it's a reality
And
show. I don't know.
yeah, and the
Peninsula?
red Precarian. I don't think I've ever seen the red Precarian comment before, so thank you. Yeah, like, subscribe, and share. Okay, Sam, I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
to you, and I
Oh,
will
go get your.
be back in half a second.
Sure, all right, that's okay. I hope some comments. I thought the Peninsula was pretty good. Lots of action. No, haven't seen that. I don't know where is it on. But yeah, I guess when Camille is not here, I can tell you the truth. I'm a hostage. Uh, yeah, he's this. We don't have a good relationship really. He's not a great partner. 3%. All right, Carter Gabriel. I just finished the Squid Game. Love 3%. So I guess I have to check out this 3%. Oh,
Yeah, I'm back. I heard you talking shit about me, and I love how you don't even have access to the software, though. So it is kind of true.
oh.
We need to first give
It
you
is.
access to the
So
software. Oh yeah, more people
Right.
talking about 3%. Oh no, it's again.
Yeah,
This time Carter.
I said I read that thing and that comment, and I said I really need to check that out.
Okay, so out of the few people who are watching us live right now, who has seen the Dave Chappelle special? Just put it in the comment section
Oh,
as we
yeah, that's a
transition
good idea.
to Dave
I watched
Chappelle.
it. I must say, I only watched it once. I wish I could watch it again after I saw the commentary. But yeah, I don't. Did you watch? You watched the show and the commentary, right?
Yeah, so yesterday when you told me about it, I mean, I'm not huge into Dave Chappelle, so I probably would have never watched it if there wasn't going to be all this. But I'm glad I watched it because also the Briahna Brianna's
Great.
bad faith thing was kind of funny at times. So how seriously they
Yeah,
kind of took, how seriously it was taken, and they were like giving him tips of how he could have, been better. He should also hate on this and that. I'm like, we do realize that it is a comedy show at the end, though. They're like, if only he had sourced better. I'm exaggerating a bit. As per
Definitely.
usual. As per usual, I'm exaggerating a bit, but
No, yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. I don't know what I don't. I feel like the commentary surrounding the thing was so out of proportion with the thing. Like, I don't know. It's just I for 2 days I saw Analysis News had Ben Burgess on. Then Joe Pascal and Ben Burgess and somebody else were on a show panel
Yeah.
together. And then Briahna Greyjoy did a whole 1 hour 45 minutes thing with it with the some professor doctor
With a
guy
doctor.
and yeah, and we're gonna talk about that. It's okay. Don't get angry yet. Okay, but yeah, and the other person who was, I believe, who has a podcast and all that.
Yeah,
So
Trevor.
it's just
I
it
like them.
felt like Jesus Christ, calm
Yeah.
the fuck down. It's a stand-up comedy. It's not like a new
Yeah.
policy. And it's so funny that when you talk about AOC and stuff, they say you're just TMZ or what. This is like he's a
Hmm.
comedian. He just wanted. I don't know. I felt the commentary was so out of proportion, and I felt the people who were saying the right things were so timid. They're so
Hmm.
like Ben Burgess, who I sometimes agree, sometimes I don't agree with, but very intelligent man. I think teaches philosophy at university. So, whatever. I don't, like. My hands are up, basically. But he was so timid, like in his
Hmm. I
defense
didn't
of
see that
like
one.
he comes on the Joe Pascal thing, and he's on Analysis News with Paul JSK, or or the person who has a podcast who was on Brianna
Trevor.
Greyjoy,
Yeah.
Bad Face, Trevor. Uh, Forget the family. He was like they're so timid in their defense of like you shouldn't be. You should just tell these people to like
And
it's jokes. Just grow
And
up.
exactly to your defense that you saw this for 2 days, you're like, what is going on? That's exactly what Brianna said. She said when she went and watched it, she was expecting it to be like, oh my god and stuff. And she said because the doctor leaves halfway through, or like not halfway through, towards like the last half an hour,
Yes,
and
same
then
last
Brianna
half
and Trevor have a much better, have a
better
more honest
discussion in my view.
conversation. They're like,
Yes,
okay, now that this
I,
guy's
I am
gone,
I
we
am
both
interested
loved
to
it,
know.
right?
I really am interested to know what is the thesis of that doctor guy because it didn't seem to add any substance to the
I
conversation
mean, I
really,
couldn't
except to
listen to
say,
him too much. He
"Oh
studies
yeah, fair enough."
LGBTQ and things like that, and he was a
Sure, but
journalist
in what
also.
way?
He's like a journalist
Sure, but that's
slash this.
academic
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. No, no, no.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, no, I just because he didn't add any substance to the conversation or anything. It's just yeah, same bullshit as usual. This comedian should make these jokes because this community is under threat, and yeah, I don't know. It's just
And
Ben Burgess actually, I think, again, in a very much nicer fashion than I can, and with much more evidence than I can, puts it like it's not the people like me. People, I think people mix up, like they mix up what is the cause and what is the effect. Media and art is a reflection of society. Like as Brianna Joy, I think, mentions in her podcast that like most Americans are probably share than Dave Chappelle's views or are in a are actually more right wing or have more problematic views, whatever wing that is, right? So this is a reflection of society. It's not he's not a driving force. It's not like he issued an edict. He told some jokes. And by the way, I mean he's very like they're actual like I mean if you look at this history of a stand-up comedy, there's a lot of racism and sexism and like I mean blackface, minstrel
yeah,
shows, all that. So like this idea that comedy I think has to be a engine for like social good. I think maybe it started
and
with like 70s and like this new wave of great comedians that were critical of the system. But
which is
and by the
good.
way, I think Dave Chappelle, I think is a critical comedian.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
put him in that tradition. I'm just saying these people though they don't seem to like understand that comedy or music or like you like don't as he says it in his stand-up. I think at some point he doesn't follow you to your car to
Hmm.
perform his
And
stand-up. You either buy the ticket or you go or just
man,
don't.
listen to listen to this, and I mean, after I'll say a few bad things about Dave Chappelle, maybe, because I mean, I don't even
Some
care that much
critical
about
thing.
him and stuff. Yeah, but this is just how much people misunderstood the whole thing. This Brianna said this in the beginning. He says, "Oh, I'm rich and all this," and then he quickly connects that to, "I can just imagine how bad COVID is for people who aren't rich like me." Apparently, people did not understand this joke and misinterpreted it as him just bragging that he's rich. So I mean, if there's like that low level of
It
understanding,
wasn't really a joke. It
it
was more
wasn't
like
just,
a, yeah,
yeah, I feel you guys. And you
like
know the doctor
sympathy.
guy on Brianna, he didn't watch the special. He watched
You're
clips. No,
kidding.
he mentions in the very beginning and go the first
I
comment on Bad
forgot
Faith.
that.
Someone says, as soon as this guy
How are
mentioned that
you
he has
qualified to comment
not only
at
comment,
all?
like criticize it
Dis
and critique.
Criticize in such a strong manner. And
Yeah.
by the way, again, I don't like genuine, like I have, again, like Ben Burgess. Again, I said somebody I disagree with a lot, but I can understand he's much more accomplished and he has much more credentials than I have. But some doctors, I'm not quite so respectful.
And we'll get to him being a doctor.
Look, yeah, I
But
know you're very
and
angry. But
you know there are some other things that he said that I guess people didn't pick on it because I mean he makes
he
a
said a lot
joke
of
about
everything
pedophilia
is
too. Like he says some crazy thing about pedophilia in the beginning. He completely makes light of it, but you know, of course, the stand-up
about
comedian.
a
If
priest. And
yeah,
nobody believes he was abused as a child and gave a yeah, whatever. It's just ridiculous, the idea that like, yeah, anyways, like the jokes are actually true stories, or some of them are, as he
yeah.
at the end. But yeah, and it's just people, yeah, I mean, again, like if they pointed out to a couple of specific things he says, not taken out of
Yeah.
context, in which some people actually took some of his words out of context, in my view. For example, when he says my people, he means comedians, clearly at the, I think,
Mm.
end-ish of the thing. And then some people say he's pitting blacks against other groups or whatever. So yeah, I can't. If somebody shows me example of a, like, I really don't
I mean,
see like what's the so fucking big deal.
and for a second, I'm gonna just be nice to like people who criticize him and kind of say what I understand. Although that's a big caveat because let's not forget this is stand-up comedy. But before that, a couple of comments. Before we missed them, Carib Moth believes that you're in my basement. Your basement looks better than my room, so I don't know too much about that. Free Sam.
What?
There are comments going around
Free
saying
Sam?
Free Sam.
Why? I'm in a.
Uh, okay, hashtag
I
Free
haven't.
Sam. Bill
Why?
Bradley. I watched Chappelle. I had to stop watching Bad Fate for that very reason. They're so wrapped up in analysis, they're listening not to jokes. I mean, I think Brianna realized
Is
that at
much
times.
better.
Yeah, but the doctor guy was just so
Terrible.
serious. But even Trevor, he was like, "Oh, I wished he would have also punched down on X and Y and
Yeah,
Z." I'm
yeah,
like, I wish too he kind
yeah.
of made other jokes because fine,
I
let's
wish he had
get to
four
it.
hours. No, I really wish he had 4 hours and he made
Yeah,
fun of every ethnicity around the world and
yeah,
every different sexual orientation. It's not possible. It's like within it.
hundred
But I would say
percent. But yo,
I
some good
always,
comments
whenever
here.
I
We'll
don't,
we'll go
and by
back
the
to
way, I
them.
don't get it. Like whenever a comedian mentions even Iranians or Iranians mentioned in a movie in a mockingly or positive fashion,
Yeah,
like everybody's so glad. And I don't get this whole like, it's
yeah.
just joking around.
And I mean
I mean,
he does,
yeah.
but and but he does have this serious part. I guess he's trying to say that Dave Chappelle. I guess the most serious thing, one of the serious things, trying to say is that he gets into the argument with the white lady, and then she says she's gonna call the cops, and he uses that to explain like, you see, like I'm actually the one here who's like in a more precarious position than you, right? Like you might be trans, but if the police comes, and I guess he was trying to point out that maybe yeah, go ahead.
I think he, before that or just right after that, he brought up the example, true case of the black man who becomes free and then owns the slaves, right? So I think what he was saying is that just because somebody's exploited or just somebody's been in a position of weakness, uh, which many minorities have been, it doesn't mean as soon as they can, they won't use whatever leverage they have in the most immoral fashion you can imagine. And it's not like gay people or black people or trans people or whoever is above it. So I think he was making that point with the black man who becomes a slave owner, and with that case they both reflect the same thing, that the somebody who is again like a Squid Game,
Mm.
like this idea that just you think because you're just weak, and like when on the way to the top you'll commit the same crimes, you'll it's the people on the top are not so different from the people on the bottom,
Mm.
except I mean the only difference is the position, really. So
So yeah,
I would justify it that way, but maybe I'm being
yeah.
too kind, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. That's fine. But how about this? I mean, this is my biggest thing. Does he seem a bit too obsessed though? Right, with this whole topic, and did he seem like he was a bit like vengeful, or I mean there was a bit of too much of an agenda behind his show, and he focused like it just gave the impression that he focused more on this issue that he kind of has, and he thinks he's being misrepresented, or he thinks the way LGBTQ or trans and issues are represented maybe it's unfair. What did he seem too obsessed with this for like his show, and yeah, not focusing enough on maybe different kind of jokes?
I would say in
I
my
got that
view it's
impression.
just stylistically, in my view, it was more closer to George Carlin than I used to remember Dave Chappelle, which gives George Carlin, you do a righteous laughter, it's just like he's like, "Argh," and it's more like it's almost like a preacher pretty much thing, but in a much better, like a good preacher. Imagine if there was a good, but George Carlin was very anti-religion in his
Mm-hmm.
stand-up and all that. So I would say, yeah, it's not as joke heavy maybe as some of his other works, or at some, I mean, you haven't seen his other stand-up, so he
I was
always
never
had his
obsessed. No, I've
storytelling.
seen, yeah, I've seen
You've seen his sketches, but I have you seen his stand-ups?
maybe once or something, but yeah, I don't really remember them that well,
Okay,
so
because
fair
he's
enough.
always been a storyteller,
Mm-hmm.
telling kind of like, and I would say I think the reason why he's so focused on this topic is because he's been because of his latest specials on Netflix have been all criticized for this issue to a huge extent, and I think maybe comments he made somewhere else as well. So I think maybe that's I mean, it seems like a fair enough reason to focus on that. Although I would say I just wish he did more stand up in general. I would agree that maybe if there were other topics, I would have loved it a bit more, but he's always been a bit like I believe the last stand up I saw him, in my view, he did one of his best bits, which was about Justice Smollett. You know who that is? The actor that pretended he was attacked
Ah,
by
yes,
Trump
yes,
supporters.
yes, of course.
Oh
The
my
African
god!
American, right? Or
Yeah,
no? Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, he said they put a rope noose around my head, and then they had a MAGA hat, and it was like,
Jeez.
I don't know, 2 in the morning in the cold,
Yeah.
and there was cameras showing nobody was. It was just so, and I think his bit about that. If you, I think that's a 15-minute or 20-minute bit, So he's always been,
Hmm.
I think, in a more rambling style. But yeah, I would say, yeah, I do accept that. I think he's very, like the whole show was pretty much focused on this issue, really, I think.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's the only thing I would
Fair
kind of
enough,
give
yeah.
it. I would kind of give, and then even Trevor and Briahna, who after once the doctor left, and someone left a hilarious comment about the doctor, which we will get to. But
Okay, yeah.
after he left, and they started having a more sensible conversation and talked
Nuance.
about, yeah, about punching down and all that. I mean, like I told you, like comedians punch down on crazy. I don't know if anybody in the comment sections here has been to stand-up comedy shows, small ones in New York. But correct me if I'm not wrong. Do they not always just make fun of homeless people? I mean, that's the impression that I got. So, I mean, that's what stand-up comedy is kind of about to a large extent. I know it's not all that, but kind of make fun
No, I
of
wouldn't say
people.
it's all. I don't. I would say it's about making fun Yeah, exactly. Like I never saw homeless people being made fun of in the UK, but or anywhere in Dubai or Iran, anywhere. Like I've seen people, specific individuals, officials, or somebody in the audience. Oh, you're fat, or you're ugly, or your eyes are blue, or your hair is blue, or your clothing. Your clothing.
Mm.
I've been made fun of for my clothing quite a few times, but yeah. So I and just yeah, and nobody takes it to heart. I hope.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean
I
that you can
yeah.
go out and make any joke also. I mean, I'm
Sure,
guessing
sure, of course.
there is like a barrier,
But
but
if somebody
there's
does
a
make a joke that you think is racist or sexist, really racist or sexist, not like making fun of sexism, like let's say Ali G or Dave Chappelle. If it's not like making fun of it, it's actually is that. Just walk away. Just don't
yeah.
pay attention to it.
And can you
And I
expand
would
that
say,
a bit?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, I do like. I have my position. I do respect my own position, but I do see that. I remember, especially from university and high school years, that people used to, for example, watch Ali G and or other. I mean, Ali G is just such a example that comes to mind. And I remember, like, I realized they weren't laughing at what I was laughing. They were laughing with Ali G rather than at Ali G. And that was not the point. Ali G is the clown
Is a
that
clown, yeah.
brings out the clown in others, that is, that highlights the clownness in others and in his own attitudes, right? And I saw, and then I realized like a lot of people were not laughing for the same reasons as I was. So there is that comedy could be misinterpreted or
Yeah.
interpreted in different ways. Who knows? My interpretation is right.
No, 100%. So, okay, I don't know if you have much else to say about Dave Chappelle. Let me
Not really.
tell you about my
But check
little
him
pet
out.
V.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. That
So
sounds
even Bill
fun.
Bradley wrote this. I don't call anyone not an MD doctor. I don't care that you went to school for 12 years. So the guest that Briahna has, he has a PhD, which I know technically is supposed to be called a doctorate, and I hope to start my PhD in a few years. So I don't hate on PhDs. I think it's a great thing. But she keeps on referring to this guy,
social
doctor.
social studies or humanities
Yeah,
PhD specifically. We are talking not
yeah.
like I said. Yeah,
Not the
but
natural sciences. But
yeah,
and
it,
this guy,
it
she
felt
just
weird.
refers to this guy doctor, doctor, doctor. And my only guess is that he told her to refer to him doctor because he's not the first person with a PhD that's been on her show. And you gave the example of Dr. Cornel West, and that's kind of like his brand being called that way. But I haven't heard do it
Yeah,
to
and
anybody else.
he's like 600
It's
years old. So
yeah, and
it's
I
like
mean,
you
I
should
just find
respect.
it to be extremely like confusing to the
Annoying. It was
masses,
so
to the
annoying.
because it gets. I was at first, I honestly thought this guy's a
I
medical doctor. I
oh,
was like, is it, why do they have a
that's a
medical
good
doctor
point.
talking about Dave Chappelle? And here's my example of why it's confusing to the masses. I've told you this before. Whoopi Goldberg. Did I say her name right? Whoopi
Yeah,
Goldberg.
Whoopi
Yeah.
Goldberg. Yeah.
Yeah, she thought she thought that Joe Biden's wife was a medical doctor. So there's like this clip on the View. She says, "Yeah, she should be the general surgeon of
Chief
of
surgeon.
the chief surgeon." And someone corrects her. It's like, "Wait, I think she has a PhD in education." And
Education.
it's so funny, but you can't blame it. It becomes
No, I would.
it's
Okay,
misleading. We should just save doctor for
good point.
medical
Good point.
doctors. And sorry, last comment. And it doesn't mean that you're smarter, that you've studied more and you become medical doctor. They're just totally different things. And they won that war. They got the doctor word. We can go call ourselves PhD, or if you're actually a professor, then someone can call you a professor. That's not very confusing,
Or by
although
your
it's
name.
or by or by doctor,
Like,
doctor.
yeah, to be honest, when I was in university, none of the professors, and there
No,
were
that's
some
not
of
a
them were
thing.
famous, like top people.
Yeah.
Like they never said call us a doctor or professor. They were
Yeah.
like, yeah, call us, hello, John, Kish. I
Yeah.
had a Dutch teacher, but yeah, I would. There are a couple of things. Linguistically, I do want to defend the fact that originally physician was what medical doctor, and doctor was actually belonged to philosophy people and like social studies, but they stole it from us.
Listen,
So
you lost that.
but
You lost that war. You
you
lost
lost
that.
yeah, yeah, you lost it. I do accept that, and I do think for confusions,
Yeah.
There is a great BBC radio show. What's the name? The one that Benedict Cumberbatch before he became famous. He he and Roger Alam is in it. Roger Alam is like he's got the best voice ever in the world. He's a great British actor, and they play on this whole confusion bit. It's quite funny, but yeah, I mean I agree with you pretty much. Yeah, like yeah, leave the doctor to medical
Yeah.
professions at this point. They won the fucking war, so let's call
I,
ourselves I don't know PhDs or whatever.
yeah. I mean,
If we get a PhD, neither of us has got
it
it.
is no. I'm just saying
But
I'm not a
I would
PhD
say
hater. That's the only reason I
yeah,
said that.
originally, I told you it's not misleading in this case because it's about
Yeah.
a specific issue, so you understand this guy has like. But then, because it's about LGBT community, actually, it could be
Oh, in that way.
misunderstood as a physician type of thing. So yeah, you are right. It was completely misleading. It gave the aura as if he has some more expertise.
Yeah.
Maybe they never even
No,
discussed his research.
he had
Did they?
specific expertise. No, he had actually very specific expertise. I
What
believe
was
he's
it?
an
I don't remember.
LGBTQ social scientist. Like that is his area.
What was his like? Did he discuss
Yeah,
his book or anything?
it's written in the hold on. It's written in the description bio of the podcast. In the description, they say, Dr. Stephen Trasher, the inaugural Daniel Babbitt Chair of Social Justice in Reporting, with an emphasis on issues relevant to the LGBTQ community, and an assistant professor of journalism. So I guess he's an assistant professor. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these things. But there's nothing wrong with these things. It's just, and you are a doctor. You are a doctor. It's just misleading.
Yeah, sure. But I would say a sociologist or an anthropologist or somebody like that would be much better poised to talk about this topic than some random journalism. I don't see how journalism qualifies.
He works on those issues. So I mean, and maybe the bio's not written properly. So I'll give him the benefit of the
doubt. Yeah, I talk about Squid Game, and I don't have any qualifications. So yeah, I take that back. That was very elitist of me.
Yeah, that's fine. But let me see. Any other comments?
I'm just rebel. What was the free Sam thing? Why is my background?
Because you told everybody you're being kept in my basement.
Oh, all right, yeah. Not your basement, but I'm being kept hostage. Yes.
And yeah, people asking if there was firing or anything like that. I don't think so.
Firing?
Or like, did anything happen at Netflix over the show? Apparently they did try to do a protest, and that employee got...
I'm not again clear about this. There are different stories going around, but apparently there was somebody who tried, again, it's not clear. I forget. After two tweets. Anyway, Netflix says she was fired, or he was fired, I forget, because they tried to break into a director's meeting. But some other people say that maybe it was trying to get rid of somebody who they disagreed with. And I remember Kyle Kalinske did a video on it, and he said, I wouldn't have fired him or her. I don't know the correct pronoun.
I see.
And it was, I don't know. But I would, personally, I was much more on the side of Netflix. I don't know what it seems like he or she was very young, and I do see that in young people a lot, that they seem to think workplace is it's like a political arena or something. Just shut the fuck up and do your work. I don't understand this
more or less
to director meetings and ask for better pay, ask for better equal workplace, but I don't I don't understand this if federal government break into the White House demanding Yemenis to be, I don't get it, just do your job, their process. It would be good, but it's just I'm surprised by the level of surprise for getting fired, if I went to my director when I was working, I'm between jobs right now, so if I went to my manager's office without notice, I would probably get fired.
It better be something serious and worth it. You better be justified. But Sam, what do you make of this comment on the screen right now? Look at your phone. It
I
should
can't.
be there too.
Oh,
Um,
oh, sorry.
so
I'm
he says,
looking at my.
Astro Gypsy says,
I
look
am
at Bill
very
Hicks.
technologically.
No, we need to figure this
Right.
out. I
Wait,
think when a comic
what?
reaches that level of
Bill Hicks.
success, they tend to drop their concern for a large audience in favor of their own concentrated interest. I think there's something in there
Bill,
with Dave Chappelle, though, there.
fair
And
enough.
the
I
obsession
do.
with that a bit.
Okay, the only thing in the commentary that I saw that was kind of a critical outlook, but I thought was interesting was that, well, when you're Dave Chappelle, obviously he's talking about trans, gay, and black people who are well off because he's been
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by those people for a long time. But I don't think he's completely I don't know. I don't feel like he's completely been separated. I think
Yeah.
that actually Eddie Izzard, do you know him? He's great as stand-up comedian.
No,
My
no.
favorite when I was a kid. I remember I showed a bit of him to you, and you were like, "No, thank you." But when we were in high school. But yeah, Eddie Izzard is like somebody who I feel that happened to. I don't know, Dave. I understand. It feels. I mean, this show, as you said, I think that's very fair. This show is so focused on one topic. I don't know, but I would say Bill Hicks. Fucking, do you know Bill Hicks? Oh,
Maybe I've
one of the
heard, but
greatest stand-up
I think I
comedians
know
ever.
who
He
it is.
died. He died before we were born, so pretty much, yeah,
I
we
think.
did. But he famous for smoking and
Hmm.
a
Yeah, I
very
think I know who
irreverent
that is.
joke. He's great. He's fucking awesome. Well, he's been like so many people copied him that you might not find him as funny now, but yeah. Anyway,
Nice. And I see more in the comment section. People, the Jill Biden, apparently. I beat some people to the Jill Biden
Dr.
joke. But
Jill
good.
Biden. Sorry, Dr. Jill. Dr.
And
Jill Biden.
yeah, and during like the primaries and stuff, they would ask her about her opinion on healthcare and all that, with the assumption that there's like a medical doctor giving her
I'm
opinion.
sorry, but if you're a journalist, come on, do some homework. Like, it's not like, I understand Whoopi Goldberg. She just
Yeah,
once shows up like drunk in
yeah.
the view, once in a while. But, if you're a journalist asking her, like, imagine, ask her about education. Come on. Like, it's just-
But
all right. Well,
yeah, I
shall
mean,
we?
I haven't seen. Sorry, last point on this. Carter says that he's seen some U.S. professors being asked to call doctor. I have also, just like Sam saying, I mean, I didn't go to university in the States.
Never, yeah.
I was in Canada, but I didn't.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody. They always said call us by first name, maybe when we said like Mr. Blah or whatever.
Yeah, true. They would do that. Yo, Sam, we need to figure out you seeing these comments properly. They're so funny, and I can't put them all on the screen. They're asking you to blink
Okay.
twice if you need a spoon to dig your way to the cam's basement. Someone's asking about
Well,
Lenny Bruce. Did you mention that?
no, we didn't, but he's great. He was the original sort of like went to jail, I think, or
Yeah.
prison for a couple of days at least. He was really like hardcore for his time. Nowadays, I mean, it seems like
Or
his jokes nowadays seem like very normal, but there's a great movie with Dustin Hoffman as well about it.
and Carter says, "Wait, Jill wasn't an MD. I thought she was because of the title." Hey, someone correct me, but based on what I know, she has a PhD
No,
in education.
education.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on to progressive tweets?
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Nice. It's already been a good hour and 40 minutes. Wow. Nice stuff.
It's good we didn't prepare.
So let's move on to boom tweets. So
When
it's
you do a screen shares now, like
Yeah.
is it okay? I'm gonna.
No,
All right,
but I'm
no,
gonna
just
put
go,
us. It's you can't really.
No, I just wanted to look. Should I look at my phone or should I look at you?
No, I think you're gonna have to follow the broadcast live, but it kind of sucks
Okay,
that you
sure. No,
can't
that's fine.
see us. You only see. Sorry, guys. I'm checking what you guys
Oh,
are
I'm
seeing.
seeing the tweets on the TV on
Yeah,
TV
but
now. My mobile
they
phone.
can't see us. You don't see us at all.
No, that's
Anyway,
fine though.
they're not
I
missing
mean,
out on
oh,
much.
well, I don't know how
Folks aren't missing out
beautiful
on
we are.
much. So, Sam, let's
You
start
have
off
to
with
figure this
someone
out though.
I hate. Robert
Oh, you
Reich.
hate?
Yeah, man. Like
He's
after,
okay.
oh, they pretend like he knows so much about economics. He's like the typical guy that like 3 years that after everybody's been saying a point, he comes and says, "Yeah, austerity. Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Maybe austerity is
Yeah.
not good." I'm like, fine. If you finally reach this position, good for you. But don't pretend like this was just discovered. So he really pisses me off. I don't know where you stand on this guy. Seems
I,
quite.
I really remember him from Adam Curtis. I think documentary regarding the whole Clinton election. I remember he was the guy who he says that the story that like if you want to get Clinton says if you want to get elected we have to do this, and he says what's the point of getting elected if you want to do that. I don't, but yeah, he's very I didn't have that strong of a feeling on him than as you did clearly,
Uh,
but yeah, I mean he's yeah, he seems like yeah, I mean he seems he kind of, I always mix him and Paul Krugman
yeah,
up because they're
same.
two economists that are exactly as you
Yeah.
said, like yeah, like the most obvious like thing 2 years later. Yeah, I definitely uh, you know, I've never been big fan or stuff, but I've heard of him or anything. Is he
Yeah.
an economist for sure? He's
Yeah, no,
definitely.
he's for sure an economist, and one other reason that he pisses me off is because he has this like those master classes. So I keep on seeing the ad.
Oh,
He has a
yeah, I
master
know.
class too.
Fucking those. God damn it! I hate those master classes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the adverts. I don't. Some of them might be good. I don't know. Oh, we had a very positive comment from somebody. I just saw
Which,
Tech Drip Namrock.
oh
If I'm
yeah,
pronouncing that.
I have that on the screen right
Love,
now.
love. Yeah, that's I think what I said. Love progressive tweets. Though I don't go Twitter anymore, so this segment is so funny. Oh, good. Yeah, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, let's move on. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Robert Reck. I don't know how others feel about this chap.
Are we gonna come back to us or go to another
No, no, no. We
tweet?
just keep on going to the next tweet. Not gonna see our
Okay, all right.
faces until the tweet's done. For next time, I'll figure out why it looks this way. Glenn here saying
Yeah.
the obvious, and I think
Oh wait,
a lot of.
I haven't.
Oh,
It's not.
wow. Yeah, there's quite a bit of a lag.
Oh, it. Yeah. Sorry. That's why we. By the way, we don't mean to cut each other off ever. We are so respectful. But I never cut anyone off. But yeah, because of the lag. But it's there now.
Yeah, so um, let me just remove this comment so people can see. So NBC had tweeted that most adults shouldn't take daily aspirin to prevent heart attack, and I'm guessing like this is not
And
something that was being said before. And Glenn Greenwald just points out that the nature of science is and always has been that what is regarded as a consensus one day becomes rejected the next, based on new learning and understanding. That's one reason it's so pernicious for Google and Facebook, at the behest of the media, to prohibit dissent from consensus. So I agree with that too, but just more generally, he makes a good point that people should just understand, especially when it comes with the whole, even the COVID stuff, but of course in the social sciences, this is like 100% true. Like there is a consensus, but then it easily changes. So I don't know if
yeah,
you have much
exactly.
to
I
add
mean,
here, Sam.
no, completely. Again, I do think like I mean I don't have much to uh, say about the education system, but I do think Thomas Kuhn's book, I think it was an article originally on paradigm shifts, a structure, revolution. What was it? Revolutionary something. I forget the name of the article, but Thomas Kuhn's book should be compulsory reading for people at least that I think 14, 15 years old, because that's pretty much that gives you, and then later on other people's book because he kind of walks back his original conclusion to an extent later on. But yeah, if anybody's read that or if anybody's actually done science, understand that exact science, as it's called, is not exact, is anything but exact. In
Yeah.
fact, Bill Maher said on his show, the show that I watched, the one with Maté, that one of his doctors, and I've heard that from many other doctors in many different fields, that yeah, they think like science is this sort of it's very much interpretive driven. It's not like exact. There's no such thing as exact science, and methodology and all that plays a role. So yeah, I think fair enough. Yeah, but that's one reason it's so pernicious for Google and Facebook to prohibit.
Yeah,
I
and
don't.
because he's referring to like Facebook and Twitter, they're like, oh no, that is wrong medically, and like that is wrong
What
scientifically.
does pernicious? Doesn't pernicious means important or crucial? I don't know. What does
I'm
it
just
exactly
looking for
mean?
the
Because I'm not.
exact. Is it like mean like bad intention or something like that? Having
I
harmful
thought it means
effects.
important.
No, having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way.
Ah, that's one reason it's so pernicious. Okay, I got it.
Which is
All
true.
right.
I mean, because they're like, oh, blah 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 isn't true scientifically, but it could even be even be true at that moment when they say it. Like they just like read the consensus wrong, or I mean, I've seen things
I
where on
mean,
Twitter especially they literally like say something is not right, but you find the same information in Wikipedia. Not that everything
eh,
is correct in Wikipedia, but I mean, you know.
I remember since I was a kid, man. One week they would say coffee gives you cancer. Next week coffee doesn't give you cancer. Next week
Yeah.
kiwi gives you cancer. Next week kiwi doesn't give you cancer. Like fuck off. Like yeah, just yeah, exactly. If anybody knows any, like to be fair though, people are god disappointingly usually stupid. So
Yeah, and Carib Moth, you're absolutely right. Twitter is useless unless you're a journalist, so you're not wasting your time by not being on it.
several
Let's
years
move
ago, and
on.
I haven't had.
Let's move on to the next tweet whenever you're ready, Sam.
Sure,
And
yeah, I'm ready.
first I'm actually going to
Give me
show
a couple
you.
of seconds.
Yeah, first actually you see the tweet that Glenn Greenwald responded to. And pretty much these are polls, I guess, for different areas. So I really need you here, Sam, to tell me exactly if you know what areas these are in the UK. But he uses this to make the point that
Can you make the? I can read the below. Sorry. So now we're. Oh, sorry. You changed.
yeah.
Westminster voting intention. 43. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's bad.
So
Complete collapse of UK's Labour Party under. Wait. Which one are we discussing first? I don't know.
this is what Glenn responded to. So I just wanted you to see the full
Oh,
thing.
that's. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go back. Sorry. Go back.
So Glenn tweeted himself saying that the complete collapse of the UK Labour Party under the leadership of Sir Keir Starmer seems to have no bottom. It's becoming one of the best case studies ever available in how not to do politics. I mean, he really seems to be losing on all fronts. So really agree with him there.
Yes. Sadly, although I don't think he would necessarily hate that, or the people around him would necessarily hate that, they're turning Labour Party into basically a private club, and they're pretty happy about the fact that since Corbyn has been removed from the leadership, the membership has dropped. I think 200,000 people have left. And by the way, like in 2017, Labour under Corbyn's leadership achieved, I think, 40%, and Conservatives reached 42%. And then in 2019, though, I think they reached 32 or 33. It was very low. But for Labour, you need, you need, you need more than 40% to actually win because of the first past the post system and all that. So yeah, it's looking very bad considering all the blunders of Johnson administration. This is pretty bad. Although I would say Johnson, unlike a lot of people who seem to completely dismiss him, I think he's a much better manager than like David Cameron was.
Boris Johnson is better than David Cameron.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like it. He was widely considered a straight up clown, Boris Johnson, before becoming prime minister, and he hasn't been the biggest
UK,
clown. Yeah, outside of UK.
not
Yeah, fair enough.
because to be fair, whenever like there's a thing with him on YouTube Q intelligent discussion, something like that. Like this guy knows goddamn. He's studied at. I mean, he was boozing around and fucking
Yeah.
up places when he was studying at Oxford, but he did study some of it. He seems
Yeah.
to have remembered some of his education. He's
Yeah.
not a complete like douchebag, like
Yeah.
like who should like Trump.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like he's not a complete,
Yeah.
just not like what was it? Second, 2 Corinthians, quoting Bible. Trump, 2 Corinthians walk into a bar. Yeah, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. No. But during that period, I guess we compared anybody or anything to Trump. So
that's true.
everyone was Trump. Anything that happened, it was like similar to Trump. But okay, let's move on to the next tweet, and I guess this is a little bit concerning as soon as people can see it. So this tweet was made by Amina Mohammed. I'm guessing nobody knows who she is, but she is the Deputy Secretary General of the UN. And I can still see,
Jesus.
there we go, it's fine on the screen. And she tweeted that for the first time in more than 2 decades, extreme poverty in the world is on the rise. A reminder that greater efforts must be made to end poverty, and to give everyone an equal chance in life. But yeah, I mean, like, beating extreme poverty is one thing that, capitalists and liberals, they kind of stand proudly by. And I mean, a lot of it had to do with China and all that, but yeah, I mean, really have to see the details to see what is really going on, but could be a concerning trend among all the other concerning trends. I don't know if you have anything to add.
I mean, again, it's one of those virtue signaling tweets. I feel like it seems like deputy head of UN
Yeah.
should be the one who's doing something rather than tweeting about it to others. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like she's less famous than us. I think we're giving her exposure right now. I mean, yeah. I mean, I took this tweet like 2 hours after it was posted, but she had 10 retweets and 46 likes.
I feel bad.
And half of them are a communication team. Sorry.
Who's her audience like right now? Like what kind of average besides
UN
Jeff
people,
Bezos
who work at the UN.
Okay, what should
and in the NGO sector.
What they should put in more greater effort?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, and also people who work at the governments. I mean, those are audience. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying she's gonna achieve anything with this.
Okay,
that's for sure.
Well, but is that for the first time in more than 2 decades? We didn't have extreme poverty growth
on the
for 2
rise.
decades? That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Growth.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it can be a.
I would be interested to know how do they define extreme poverty and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean they're.
They are like $1.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be something like that. But okay, let's keep on going. Oh, here I just wanted to give ourselves a little shout out. So yesterday we uploaded Progressive World episode, and we did a full watch along breakdown of the absolute crappy China segment on Breaking Points. And as soon as people can see this tweet, is a tweet by Jackson Hinkle, and he also did like a whole hour section, and he has a whole feed discussing, why all the different things that was not mentioned, that Sagar should have interfered and mentioned, and all of this.
What can you read it to me? My quality went down because
Breaking
Point just did a.
Yeah, wow, Breaking Points just did a 14-minute pro-war propaganda piece against China with Jacob Hellberg, who is a mouthpiece of the military-industrial complex and imperialist Western governments. Hellberg is an adjunct fellow at CSIS, which is funded heavily by the following entities, and then he has a whole list. I mean, I don't have that, but he has a whole list of,
Okay, yeah, sure, but they were upfront about his background and all that. I don't know if you can call that, like, I don't know. But yeah, I think he's.
I mean, they could have explained more
in his categorization, but it was shit. I mean, it was a very shitty segment, and his views, in my view, are wrong. But I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to ourselves, and we're gonna put the individual clip on our page as well. So if you want to check that out, it was quite fun. Okay, moving on to our great friend Aaron Maté, our great friend that we have yet to meet. So, I mean, I've followed this story just a little bit. I mean, just happened recently, yesterday, so I don't know too much. But Reuters tweeted that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's envoy, Alex Saab, has been extradited to the US, Cape Verde National Radio announced. And then here's Aaron Maté's tweet. Biden, picking up Trump's baton, has kidnapped Venezuelan diplomat Alex Saab for the crime of trying to feed Venezuelans in defiance of US sanctions designed to prevent that. Venezuelans aren't allowed to eat so long as the DC mafia has marked their government for regime change. One thing though, apparently he's not Venezuelan. Apparently he's Colombian, and he works but for some reason he works for the Maduro government. And in fact, the Maduro government, in response to this, have canceled their talks with the opposition in Mexico that seem to have been going kind of well. And we talked about last time, it's probably a decent thing that they were talking and negotiating. But yeah, now they've decided not to. The chief negotiator is apparently withdrawn. And yeah, so he was in Cape Verde, which is a small island nation in Africa, and apparently he was stuck there. I don't know for how long, because he was stuck there because they weren't allowing him to refuel his plane. And apparently now he's been extradited directly from there to the US in the last few days.
It's interesting. As soon as I Googled him, it comes up on Wikipedia. He is a Colombian businessman of Lebanese descent mentioned in Panama Papers. So, I mean,
not surprised.
The whole argument that Panama Papers and Pandora Papers are. But that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the tweet is, yeah.
Oh, that whole argument about the fact that, there was nobody that there was no US politicians, but a lot of US kind of enemies or people that the US don't care who were in those documents.
Exactly. And in the US, it's pretty much legalized. So there's no need for
Yeah.
But I would say that's the Gray Zone did a video with the professor. Goddamn, I forget his name. But he wrote this book, Super Imperialism, and he talks about that part of America's like trying to just always try to control the food supplies in South America and all that. So yeah, it makes sense for Biden to pick up the baton.
And finally, the last tweet is just like a feel-good tweet by Bernie Sanders as we wrap up today's live and progressive tweets. And Bernie simply tweeted, "Solidarity forever."
With who?
Huh? Listen, just solidarity forever, okay?
With who?
That's it. It's just solidarity forever.
Well, with what? What if?
Sam, okay. Should I end the screen share now? Because I think we're out of tweets.
I haven't seen the Bernie tweet.
Oh, really?
Yet, as of yet, I am one. No, wait. I have seen solidarity forever. Oh no.
No, I told you.
Okay, with what? With who? What?
Alright, I'm gonna stop the screen share right now. So I hope you have pants on.
I have pants. I have. Yeah, I should be worried about others. Yeah, but yeah, I hate that. That's
solidarity forever.
That pisses me off. With who? With what? With landlords, for example, as slumlords? Should we feel solidarity with? Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't feel like he's. I mean, these communication teams, they can fuck. I hate that. But probably it works though. It got so many likes and shit. So maybe I'm the one who's been an idiot. But yeah.
Solidarity forever.
So yeah, clarify your position. Solidarity with who? With what? In which time exactly? Regards to what? I don't know. Am I being crazy or did you pick that because it is so general?
Because it's just like solidarity forever. So I'm like, sure, but you're right. Not with everyone. So I should have been like, sure, but not with Dave Chappelle. No, joking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, by the way, he's like, I remember when Cenk Uygur was running for Congress and some old shit came out. He withdrew his support for him. So what happened to solidarity? Anyway, like if it's forever, for everything, I don't know. It's just, yeah, anyway. Sorry, I'm getting worked up for shitty tweet, but yeah. That last one was a bit of a curveball from you, I feel.
No, but all good. So I'm just reading the last few comments to see if
Sure.
There's anything
Question.
to add, any questions or anything? But no, I think that's it. So that was fun, but I mean, when we were doing the tweets on the screen, it didn't look too nice. It was just my whole Firefox page. So we need to kind of switch it up for next time.
Sure. Did we last time and did we do a screen share last time? Live when we did live.
Last time,
I remember. Gee, it was 1 week ago.
yeah, I can't remember if we shared screen. No, we definitely shared the screen because I remember it took me a while to realize how to do it.
And
But
did
what
we
we
appear or?
yeah, that I don't know. But man,
Alright, we
this
need to
live
watch our
thing,
own
and
show.
we're gonna stop boring people with this, but this live thing, I mean, I love it. Like now I'm done. Like I don't have to edit it or nothing. That's it.
Oh, nice. Very
We're
nice.
just gonna close it and it's over. Wow.
I mean,
It's
you
kind of
should edit
beneficial in that way.
some
Huh?
segments later, but
No,
you
but
should
that's
edit out
chopping.
some segments.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
chopping
that's
though. It's
alright.
different.
Chop.
No, but like right
Alright,
now, editing
different.
and putting, and yeah, and with my computer,
But
it's a
you
bit
have no idea
stressful
how
for
hard
it.
for me it is because any moment I am about to say something that would get us either. I mean, we are not even big enough to be cancelled. We should just be ignored, I
Man,
suppose.
I hope they don't stop like demonetizing us every 2 minutes because speaking of Jackson and the dive, and someone wrote about him here. I was gonna put the comment on screen, but anyway, any video of that poor guy I watch, under it says that I've been
Yeah, it's
demonetized.
demonetized.
So
Yeah.
I hope we don't become like
It's
that.
so yeah. I don't get. I mean, I don't get. He doesn't say anything crazy either. I don't
Yeah.
because like same. He says pretty much same thing Kyle Kalinske would.
I wonder
A
if
bit
it's a
more
live
like to
thing.
the left, but huh?
I wonder if it's a live thing. Like if the live they can't process that quickly, because if I'm not mistaken, our live was also put like no ads last week, like for the first day, and then it changed. So maybe it's a live
We
thing.
should, yeah, we shouldn't do this online. We shouldn't work out our. So about the lighting, can like
All right, but
the
yeah,
chair. I think.
all right. So I guess we're done. Anything else
Yeah.
to mention? We shall be back on Tuesday, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully, maybe
Do some
a little bit
propaganda
propaganda
review.
review.
Yeah. So go through the news.
Yeah, yeah. We might change the format a tiny bit.
Yeah, we're playing around with the format, but it's pretty much we read the news from major news outlets from around the world and just discuss them. But yeah, we need to work on it, and we'll be back with some more progressive tweets and progressive world on Friday. All right, so thank you for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, and I guess have a really good Sunday, and we'll see you during the week. Thank you, and bye-bye.